Hello there and welcome to this channel update. So tonight I pretty much just wanted to focus on what I've been doing over the last 2-3 weeks around the hobby side of things and my painting. I've been really furiously busy getting on with things for various battle reports I've got planned and for the Napoleonic campaign that I've been running, so it's really keeping me going, and I thought tonight I'd maybe just show you where I've got to with a few units. I have shown a few on those battle reports, but just give you an idea of what else I've been doing really. And also to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers. I'm still getting a fairly healthy uptick in numbers on a weekly basis, so that's really exciting for me, and thank you for all those people who are taking the time to do that, and also for those who've been sending me some feedback and comments on the videos. Again, it's all great stuff, really interesting comments and some great feedback, and again quite motivational to keep going. And so what's coming next on the channel? So this weekend I'll be filming another battle report. So I've done 2 from the Napoleonic campaign I've been running, 8 Hours of the 100 Days. But I'm going to flip back to American Civil War. I've got another American Civil War battle report to do for the Epic system, and that kind of off the back of a couple of things. One, I've been painting some more models for that as well, and secondly, Warlord Games very kindly put a link to one of my battle reports in one of their recent newsletters that they send out. I wasn't aware of it. That wasn't something they'd spoken to me about. They obviously saw it on the internet or on YouTube, decided to put a link to it. So I thought I must be doing something right, which is nice of them. So that was great. And so I thought I'd go back to that because they to date have been my most popular videos, to be fair. So I thought I'd go back to American Civil War for another battle report, and then I'll come back with another installment of the Napoleonic campaign as I finish some of the units for the next scenario. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you some units and then see what you think. Okay, so first on the list is these Uhlans. So these are some Brunswick Uhlans I'm doing for the Napoleonic campaign. Now, these are from Perry. Now, at the Battle of Waterloo, there was one squadron of Uhlans, which are basically kind of lancers. Now, I think I'm an okay tabletop standard painter, so I'm sure there's better standards out there, and there's better painters than me out there. But I'm quite happy with these, and at 3 feet away, they're going to look all right. So. Got the colour scheme through various sources, so that's the command and the bugler, and then we've got some of the actual lancers themselves. I do really like these miniatures. These are from Perry, and I got the pennants from GMB Designs. And a squadron for me is the 3 stands. These are 50 by 50 bases, and there you go. There's a sergeant on the end there, shouting across the lines. So really pleased with these actually. They're really nice models to paint. As I say, I'm not the best painter, but I think these are okay. Just in terms of the horses, what I tend to do, I've got sort of 3 colour schemes really. I've got a black, I've got a kind of chestnut horse, and then I've also got a brown, which one's that one? A brown horse. So I kind of just mix and match between those 3 colour schemes, and then I kind of just dot in some white for some flashings on the legs and around the hooves and the noses, just to kind of break things up a bit. When I'm painting as well, I don't really bother with eyes. It's not something I'm really good at anyway. And also when you've got the peaks on the caps, you can't really see them anyway. And when the models are down on the table like this, nobody's really staring at the eyes anyway. And I think from a battle perspective, these are fine. So they're the Uhlans. That's the first thing, so that's coming up. So I'm going to be using them in one of the battle reports coming. I have shown this model before on the campaign stuff, on the 8 Hours of the 100 Days campaign, but this was the Lieb or Life Battalion commander. And again, another Perry model. He was really good to paint. Now this paint scheme is dead simple. I say I'm not the greatest of painters, but to get the black, or that kind of faded black look, did a few. So the way I approach this is I do it basically. Obviously, I do the commander separately on a different base, and then mount him afterwards. Spray them black, and then I then do a dry brush, a very light dry brush in a dark grey. I use Eshin Grey, the colour. And then I do another light dry brush over the top with a slightly lighter grey. I use Dawnstone from Citadel. So I do those 2 dry brushes across the black. Now at that point it does look a bit grey, so then I just come in with a wash of Nuln Oil, and that just literally darkens it down and flattens the colour. And I think it looks all right. I mean, that's how quick it is. I mean, you can get units out quite quickly. I quite like doing Brunswick for that reason. I think they're cool anyway, but and as you can see, it does pick up the highlights in the folds in the arm, on the knee, etc., on the ammo pouch at the back there, with not too much effort. And the horse itself was all contrast paints, with a bit of white dry brushing as well. And it comes out all right. And again, for a tabletop standard, not too bad. Pretty happy with how he came out. I also finished some more Brunswick units, which I had on the last battle report for 8 hours 100 days. These are the Brunswick Jaegers. And these are fun models. These are really nice to do. Again, slightly different paint scheme to the black. It's kind of this grey field uniform. And again, I like to have my models a little bit weathered. I don't quite like pristine models all the time. By the way, absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing and you enjoy painting to that standard, great. But I always think, you know, reality is these guys would have been in battle or walking. I mean, on the day of the Waterloo battle, for example, it was been raining, there was mud everywhere. These have been on campaign, so they're going to be a little bit more weathered than that. But these are fantastic minis. These are all, again, Perry. I love the hats. Fantastic models to have a go at. And again, not too difficult colour scheme. Grey, just again a bit of, you know, grey and dry brushing, and then some highlighting with the green around the models. So these are pretty straightforward to do. Some great poses, some really nice variation to your army. Just show one more there. This guy's running into action. So yeah, so that's my Brunswick Jaegers. So again, that's coming through. And now this is the big one. I have to thank Leon T66 for this, because I've been putting off doing these for such a long time. These are the Gordon Highlanders. And mainly because I didn't want to paint kilts. So I finally found a painting tutorial on his channel that I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a go. So these have turned out okay, actually. Now again, tabletop standard. I'm not the most detailed painter, but I think these will pass. These should pass muster. Kilts, yeah, okay, I'm happy with those. I think they'll do for me. Not the easiest thing to paint. You need a really steady hand, and it's also the layering of all that. As I say, he had a really good tutorial on it, which I followed. And to be honest with you, again, for a tabletop standard, I think they've turned out pretty well. To be honest, I'm pretty pleased with them anyway. I think I'm happy to stick these on the table. I managed to get some decent crosses on the headdresses and on the socks as well, top of the socks. So I think that was a bit of a tricky bit to do. And then this is the flags and the bagpipes, which was fun to paint. Got the flags from GMB Designs. These are actually from Victrix. This is the Victrix kit. You do get some flags in there as well. I quite like GMB. I think he does some nice flags. And got just this one with the drummer. So the drummer's in the yellow livery for the 92nd, as you can see. Okay, and for the observant of you, you'll notice there's only 5 stands. Now, typically in a regiment there is 6, but looking at the rules around frontages for black powder, that is a legal regiment. And basically I do 5 now. I've cut this down from 6, and that's because I mainly run my British and the Allies in line. Very rarely do I have them in any kind of other kind of formation, maybe march. And I only really use a 6x4 table for battles. So it's just 1 stand less for room sake, and also from a painting perspective, it's just 1 less thing to do as well. And I think I'm trying to just manage my time and painting. So Previously I was always doing 6 stands. I've now gone down to 5 for the time being. And also, if I ever get to a situation where I'm playing on a bigger table, I can always paint another stand. It wouldn't take long. And also quite like having the flags in the middle, which is quite nice as well. So yeah, it's not an illusion. There are only 5 stands for those reasons. Okay, so that's the Gordons. Quite happy with them as well. And then finally, for the American Civil War, I've got a few new regiments done for the next battle. And what I wanted to show you, although I've done a previous hobby update where I've shown the epic painting, I've made a decision. I'm not sure it's the best one, but I've done it anyway. In this next scenario I'm looking at, Culp's Hill, there's quite a number of small units. Now, in a previous video I've said I would do small units. I haven't got another stand to hand, but basically like this, forget these are different sides, that I would do 2 stands. I do 3 for a standard regiment, 2 for a small regiment, and 1 for a tiny regiment. But what I've found is, because you have the flags over here, it doesn't look the best on the table, I would say, because with the 3 stands you've got the flags in the middle, another stand there. I don't know. So I had an idea, because a lot of my commanders are on round stands. I've got one up here, so I tend to base my commanders on round stands like that. I've got a lot of these square ones left. So what I did was there's an optimal point for these sprues from Warlord where you can actually saw them. You can saw off 3 guys. So I made these smaller using the square bases that I had over. I basically cut them down into these little small bases which I can add. So basically I've painted the command stand, and then just adding 2 of these on either side gives me my small regiments. It's a slightly smaller frontage than having the 2 stands, but it cut down on the painting again, so I got out these quite quickly. And secondly, yeah, I like the flags in the middle and the command stands in the middle. So I just thought I'd show you that. These are, I've gone for kind of button-up uniforms on these ones. I think on my previous ones they're mainly grey with some variations, but there were regiments that were all button-up. So I've gone for a couple of those regiments just to give a bit of variety to the Confederates on the table. And then these just literally, now if you can tell where I've cut these in half or where I've cut these off the stands, I'll send you a free gift, but it's very difficult to see. But yeah, these have actually been sawn, and I haven't done any kind of work with green stuff. I've just been very, very, very careful about how I cut these off the sprues. And I think, again, from this distance, you can't really tell. So that was the Confederates, and I've got another Union regiment there, again a small regiment. Again, just working those through. Apologies for the fingers. That's another one there, and again these small kind of stands that just plop onto the side and give you a small unit. And I think that's how I'm going to do these going forward. Just to give you an idea how many I've done, because it's been taking me a while. I've got 3. So basically done another brigade effectively of small units for the Union. So I've got 3 there for the Union, and then I've got the same for the Confederates. So another one there. And I did these ones I've done in grey, so again just a bit of variety for the Confederates. So these are all in grey, these ones, rather than the butternut. So, and again did the smaller cut off. So that really cut down on my painting time, because I'm on a clock really with some of these projects I'm trying to get through. So, and also I think they look pretty cool. I was quite pleased how these turned out actually. I think they do look quite nice as well as these small brigades. And that particular scenario did have small units. So that's about it for now. As you can see, I've been getting loads done. Been really busy with the painting. And as I say, I'm looking to do the next American Civil War battle report this weekend. So hopefully that should be up on Sunday night. And thanks for tuning in, and keep well. Catch you all soon.